Well, hi everyone, this is Chantay, aka Chantay on Twitter and Instagram, and just simply Chantay. So welcome to another episode of my analysis. Normally, I will start off with the numbers of coronavirus, but I'm not doing that tonight. I have a headache. Today's breaking news took precedence over. Yes, Dr. C. Oh my God. So, and what the hell? Or in my New York native language, what the fuck was that? But I want to start off with this before I end it off on a good note, because I normally was going to start on a good note, but I'm switching gears today, all over, because I just took a leave because my head hurts, and I'm just going to talk about this whole thing. So I'm working from home remotely. My supervisor told me, "Did you know what's going on in the news?" Like, I was aware of what's going on in the news. I was aware, was watching from my iPad. I didn't turn on my TV because the TV is like a distraction for me when I'm working, even though like I'm still learning my job and there's mistakes I'm still making, and it's not intentional, but I'm trying to do my best, and I'm gonna pray every night about it, read a scripture about it. But anyway, besides that, I'm just like, I never saw this in my 34, almost 35 years of life. I never saw a party who will soon to become obstructionist. Nis with an S. I knew the Party of Lincoln, the Grand Old Party, also known as the GOP, has morphed into, they've been going through a lot of changes within their party. They went from the Party of Lincoln to the Party of People to the Party of Capitalists and Free Markets, which they still are to this day. That has not changed. To the Party of Conservatism back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. To the Party of Reagan. And now they're the party of Trumpism, extremism, white supremacy, QAnon, Tea Party, whatever you want to call them. They're the party of all the extremes. So they have morphed into, they've been going through a lot of changes. They have morphed into like the worst of the worst. So each year they have progressed to worse. And the post civil rights movement just made it even worse. And by the time we really hit the the second decade of the 21st century, it just got even just ugh. And Mitch McConnell don't even have control over them anymore. John Bayer didn't have control. Eric Cantor didn't have control. They end up losing or resigning. Same with Paul Ryan. Who's next? Jeff Flake resigned. Lamar Alexander resigned. So there's nothing but extremists. And if the quote unquote good Republicans that are there, they have no spine and no backbone. No matter the which way they voted today, I still side eye them. And that includes Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, and Benjamin Eric Sass. Or should say for Mitt Romney's name, Woolard, because that's his name. We're going to use people's real names today. And Addison Mitchell McConnell, who was one of the enablers and the obstructionists. Now you saw what happened today. Susan Collins, Donald Trump didn't learn his lesson. Lisa Murkowski, Donald Trump didn't learn his lesson. Benjamin Eric Sass, Donald Trump didn't learn his lesson. Patrick Toomey, Donald Trump didn't learn his lesson. No matter how civil you try to be today, Because you're retiring in 2 years? Because you're not running for re-election? You were silent and complicit too, sir. So all these people that call themselves the righteous conservative, no. And Lindsay Olin Graham just morphed into like Trump's water boy, playing golf with him, trying to discard the votes in Georgia, meddling in the vote in Georgia when you have your own state in South Carolina you need to worry about. And I feel like that election in South Carolina was stolen from Jamie Harrison. But who am I to say something? Who the hell am I? But yeah. The grand old party is the party of Trump. And their main cheerleaders on the House GOP side is Matt Gaetz and who's his face? Jim Jordan and Louis Gohmert and Elise Stefanik. And let's not forget the QAnon lady, her. And then on the GOP Senate, you got Rafael Edward Cruz and Joshua David Harley. Joshua David Harley, there's a picture of him raising his fist in solidarity of the violent extremists, the domestic terrorists, the white supremacists. But delivered a bullshit ass speech on the floor. You would have thought he had a change of heart, which I know he didn't have a change of heart, because he was the first sitting U.S. senator to publicly said he was going to object the certification of this. Yes, I'm saying that whole government of the whole of this certification of this election. First, middle, and last name. You got to get them where they are. Rafael Edward Cruz is Ted Cruz, Lindsay Olin Graham, and Addison Mitchell McConnell. And Addison Mitchell McConnell don't have control over his party. He is stuck where he's having a John Boehner moment. And his wife may resign from a position because of today. Even though she is on her way out, but she's going to resign before she's on her way out. There's already been a couple of resignations from the Trump aura or the Trump orbit because of today's events. But where was that whole concern? Yeah, where was that whole concern when he was touting this bullshit? When he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, where was y'all concerned? Where was y'all, oh my God, then? And that's why I will always say Benjamin Eric Sass is full of shit. And Pat Toomey and Willard Romney, they're all full of shit. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Lamar Alexander, his punk ass left, he full of shit too. But back to Joshua David Harley, the youngest, most miserable senator ever with a wife and 2 kids. I wonder how you're sleeping at night. I wonder in the next 10, 15 years, your children look at you in history praising white supremacists to be violent. I want your kids' teachers to tell them what the fuck you did as a sitting U.S. senator. Because that shit was crazy. Senators and congressional people had to hide I never heard of that in my life. The last time that happened was when we all existed on this planet. And that was almost, what? No, that was over 200 years ago. 1812? That's 200 and what? 9 years ago that happened? During the War of 1812? And now it's 2021. We're having a moment again because the sitting White House resident, the outgoing White House resident, doesn't want to accept the results of this election. Wow, I didn't hear that. That's interesting. How about the Air Force vet that was shot in the chest? I have not heard that. I heard of a lady. I don't know if that was a lady that was shot, and then a couple of resignations from the Trump orbit. The Deputy National Security Advisor even resigned today. Our democracy was under assault. And there was no statement. Of course, Michael Richard Pence did not deliver a unifying statement saying we need to get back to business as usual. No. Oh, that was her. Okay, thank you, Dr. C. Thank you. You find it funny, so you find senators hiding in let's post this. So you find senators hiding funny? That's not funny. Because that was your congressional representation. Oh, wow. And they was in the speaker's office. That was insane. But back to you, Hard and Nine. That's not funny. Because that could have been anybody in your family that worked in as an aide or something like that. That's not funny. So I think you want to take that comment back. But yeah. No, that was YouTube, I think. But somebody said the chest, the throat, I don't know, but she was shot. But congressional folks had to hide because they're afraid they wasn't protected. And for the Capitol Police to take pictures with the fucking domestic terrorists. But to take pictures with the Congress, that was disgusting. Those Capitol Police should be arrested too and charged. And so was Joshua David Harley and Rafael Edward Cruz. But also Joshua David Harley. Because his hometown paper even said he got blood on his hands. And when they said you had blood on your hands, yeah, that was interesting, Dr. C. When they say you got blood on your hands, that's not funny. But Mike Parsons may put some other deplorable idiot there because the Missouri governor is just as a Trumpian as Josh Hawley and Mike Braun. They say, well, Mike Braun took back his thing on rejection, but I still don't trust Mike Braun. He's the worst. It is madness. But I cannot wait because we have two new senators. We have Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, who will join the Democratic Senate caucus. And ahead of that caucus, I'm about to get into the Senate leadership on the Democratic side. So Chuck Schumer is currently the minority leader, probably going to be the majority leader. The minority whip is Senator Dick Durbin, and the Senate Democratic caucus leaders are Elizabeth Warren and Mark Warner. But I believe Pat Murray also has a Senate Senate leadership role too. So I'm just going to take a great look at that Democratic Senate leadership. So let's read this. So on the Democratic side, floor leader is Chuck Schumer. Minority whip is Dick Durbin. Assistant floor leader is Patty Murray. And vice chairman of the Democratic caucus is Mark Warner and Elizabeth Warren. I can assure you, due to these politicians giving trillions to the banks and 600 to people, which is an insult. That was Mitch McConnell. There was a bill that was passed, the HEROES Act in May, that would have gave people $2,000. And that bill was by Senator Kamala Harris. And that's another fucking thing. I'm going to say this because I get irritated. I really get irritated. With all due respect, and I don't say all due respect, Senator Bernard Sanders did not write the bill. He co-sponsored the bill, along with Ed Murphy and along with my other senator, Kristen Gillibrand. Exactly, Dr. C. Thank the Republicans. But Bernie Sanders co-sponsored it. It was Kamala Harris who had the bill for $2,000, who wrote the bills with her fucking with her economic policy advisors. And I didn't need to say it like that, but I keep seeing like these progressives with these big old platforms giving Bernie Sanders all the credit. And it was not his economic advisors. It was Kamala's folks. Kamala just showed the bill to her colleagues. They're like, look, guys, like that. Thank you. Supported it. Co-sponsor. Let's put it here. Supported it. Co-sponsor it. And that was back in May. Because there was series of COVID bills coming from Kamala Harris herself with other Senate and House colleagues. Because there was a bill with Ayanna Pressley called Save Your Streets, which it saves local, stores, corner stores, local storefronts. She had those. She had another COVID bill that doctors have to talk to people of color and brown communities and indigenous communities how to treat them during COVID. She had that. She had another bill that will help with rent and mortgages. Kamala had a lot of bills due to COVID with other folks and even just her own individual self. And Nancy Pelosi came up with the HEROES Act, even though there was some progressives that was mad about the student loan thing, but you had to get your whole Democratic caucus because the Democrat Party is a big ass tent. Yeah, they were coming up with different remedies. But if Mitch McConnell would have passed that HEROES Act, the American economy would have been in a much better position. And there was money for testing. There was money to reopen schools safely because our city, Dr. C and I are from New York. We see how the schools kept opening and closing, doing the back and forth Zoom, remote learning. And I'm just like, parents got to go to work. Parents got to go to work. Like, that's how crazy it is. And there are some of my friends that are parents that work at home, but there's some people that I know that have to go physically into work because their job required them to be physically in the office. If the whole country would have shut down, we would have been in a much better place. But obviously, who is the White House occupant? But that's why when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is inaugurated, because they are one way or another, there's going to be a 4 to 6 week lockdown. That's about a month or two. And there's going to be a 3 month mask mandate. And it might be longer because this virus kills. And it comes from the droplets of the mouth. So this is what we're dealing with, folks. So that's why I urge you to stay vigilant. Be aware of what's going on. You don't have to watch the news all day. Because sometimes that shit drives you wild, and my head was hurting. But just be aware. And also, please subscribe to Patreon to hear Dr. C's podcast. And I need to know where the app is on my iPhone so I can listen to it instead of just going on the internet on my phone because it'd be easier. So yeah, go to Dr. Candace's page and just subscribe. You will actually get a history lesson. Take you to school. But I am out. I'm tired. I have a long day tomorrow. And I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a regular day where I can give you the regular coronavirus numbers and be like that today. Okay? Thank you, Dr. C. Have a good night.